Satellite picture showing us a very well-defined hurricane. Also kind of trying to see a little ragged eye trying to form here. You can see the brighter shades of oranges and reds indicating some very deep convection, a very strong central dense overcast right around the center of circulation. This is also showing us where the heavier rains are occurring, where the squalliest weather is occurring. Really good outflow as well. Now yesterday Mitch had kind of a hard time because there was a trough of low pressure just to its north that was causing some wind shear. But then overnight the wind started to slacken off and Mitch really underwent some very strong and rapid intensification, and that's why it was classified as a hurricane earlier this morning. Now the forecast calls for the chance for further strengthening, as the wind shear again will probably be minimal, and we certainly have some very warm sea surface temperatures across this region. So conditions do look favorable for further strengthening to be taking place. Here's our latest visible satellite picture of Mitch. Again, you can kind of see an eye right about there. That's the center of circulation and all the good banding right around the center of circulation. Now you might be asking yourself, where is Mitch going to be going from this point on? And it's still a big question mark. Some of the forecast models have it continuing to lift off towards the north. Others kind of take it more towards the northwest, heading over towards the Yucatan Channel. And at this point, we really don't know for certain. So what we're advising is that if you have any interest in the Western Caribbean, if you have any interest, maybe family or friends around Jamaica, maybe around Cuba or the Cayman Islands, you definitely have to monitor the situation very closely, and we'll keep you posted with the very latest information regarding Hurricane Mitch. Now in the Gulf of Mexico, especially the southern Gulf, we're keeping close tabs on another large area of disturbed weather, some showers and some thunderstorms. And these are in association with an area of low pressure that's poised around the Bay of Campeche. So far, it's still been rather disorganized, and it looks as if most of this moisture and energy will eventually get shunted over towards Mexico. So further development may not really be likely across this area, but nonetheless, we're keeping close tabs on it at any rate. A little bit farther out towards the east, we have another tropical wave that's still several hundred miles to the east of the Leeward Islands. We're watching that too because it could bring some squally conditions eventually towards the islands. Off the African coast, the Cape Verde season is shutting down, so really no big problems across this area. But in the eastern Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Lester with winds of 50 miles per hour and slowly drifting towards the west. Really, Lester causes no big problems right now because it's not affecting any land areas, and we're really not expecting Lester to affect any land areas either. In the western Pacific, though, we have Bab, still a typhoon, still with winds close to 90 miles per hour. It may eventually make a secondary landfall just to the east of Hong Kong. As we head stateside, we have some headaches too, maybe a chance for some rough weather today, especially for Northern California. A powerful system continues to slam its way through the west, producing some strong winds, more showers and thunderstorms, and some snow for the mountains. We'll update the situation in the west coming up.
Tropical weather systems are affected by so many variables.
We constantly monitor the situation.
If someone is safer by watching the Weather Channel, that's what it's all about.
What's going on?
Maybe it's because their frames are welded instead of bolted. Or because their decks are stamped from a single piece of steel. Or maybe it's the fact that they have the highest resale value in the industry.
Oh, hey, I always wanted one of these. Thanks, guys.
But the truth is, when people are asked what kind of lawn tractor they'd like as a gift, most say the same thing.
Happy birthday, Dad.
And with these new prices, the LX has never been easier to buy.
For more information about John Deere
Time for a look at the tropics, and don't forget we'll also be checking out what's going on back at home. We do have a lot of rain and a lot of snow actually in the forecast for the mountains of the west. But we want to talk first off about Hurricane Mitch. This is a dangerous hurricane, has increased in strength a lot in the last 24 hours. All day long yesterday it was stationary It was a tropical storm. Upper-level winds were keeping it from developing, but now it has gained strength as the upper-level winds have calmed down. So it's in just a prime environment to gain even more strength, potentially becoming as strong as a Category 4 on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It's a Category 2 right now with 105-mile-per-hour winds. The 5 o'clock update from the Hurricane Center places the center at 15.3 north, 78.2 west. That's now just 200 miles south-southwest of Kingston and Jamaica. The movement has been slowed just a little bit. It was moving at 7 miles per hour. Now reported movement 6 miles per hour. The pressure has been dropping through the last 24 hours. Now it's 976 millibars. Hurricane watches are in effect now in Cuba. Hurricane warnings for Jamaica. Now the official forecast takes it to the north for a while longer, and then tomorrow it should start turning more to the northwest. And the official forecast does have it missing Jamaica, but not far enough to allow us to go without hurricane warnings here. So there are hurricane warnings, and that means that hurricane conditions can be expected within the next 24 hours. If you have a hurricane watch, it means they are possible. So again, Cuba may not see the effects of Hurricane Mitch, but at this point it's just too close to take the gamble, so the watches have been issued. And there you can see the center of circulation, the eye. It's had a well-defined eye now, last few hours, and again moving just very slowly to the north. The official forecast track takes it to the northwest, then missing Jamaica, again gaining strength through today and tomorrow, and then eventually it turns it to the west, so far enough to the west that places like maybe Cancun and Cozumel would be most endangered. However, one of the forecast models wants to try to take it more to the north, and that's why Cuba has the watches, and that's why folks in Florida should watch this one very carefully as well. Again, official forecast does not take it up toward Florida, but it's still a possibility. This is a strong hurricane that's continuing to gain strength, so we're going to watch it very closely. This is the infrared satellite picture. You can see the deep red, that's the highest cloud tops. That indicates, again, strengthening the more of this that you do see. And you'll notice that the eye gets very well defined here in the last few hours. It's very symmetrical, just in, again, a perfect environment for more strengthening. So Mitch is certainly at the top of the list. Otherwise, there's really not much going on in the Atlantic. These are the Lesser Antilles and South America here. Tropical wave is heading west. That may mean a few showers or thunder showers in the islands maybe by tomorrow, but it doesn't show any signs of gaining any strength. And the intertropical convergence zone just off the coast of Africa is not showing anything impressive here either. And it's really a little late in the season to expect anything to develop this far east. Next stop takes us to the Pacific, where Tropical Storm Lester's hanging in there. It's still a tropical storm. A few days ago it was a hurricane. Winds are now 50 miles per hour, moving west at 5. The forecast is for it to maintain the strength for about 2 more days and then gradually start to weaken and actually gradually start to make a turn to the north. It may be affecting the Baja of California eventually if it gets pulled in that direction, but should be weak enough that it was not likely to be a big deal here, maybe just some rain showers. Satellite picture shows actually in the last 12 to 24 hours it's had a little more of a flare-up, so we've seen some thicker clouds around the center of circulation, but it is not forecast to strengthen, so that's good news. We have also Typhoon Babs to tell you about. It crossed over the Philippines, caused more than 100 deaths. It's over warm water now. It is not forecast to strengthen. Actually, it's forecast to weaken as it gets close to the coast and eventually makes landfall in China. Should move in east of Hong Kong and also west of Taiwan, but still a strong typhoon, 90-mile-per-hour winds. All right, back at home, things are much quieter, thankfully. Extremely quiet in the east, only some brisk winds in Florida. That's the biggest problem here. We have light rain showers in the plains and more of a steady rain in California and the potential for some pretty heavy snow actually into the Sierra Nevada. We may see snow atop of Lake Tahoe ski resorts by tomorrow morning, maybe as much as a foot of fresh snow out here. Snow advisories are in effect. This storm is going to continue moving to the east. We'll tell you where it lands tomorrow, coming up next on Weather Center.
A chilly start to the day for folks from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast. Find out if you'll need a jacket for the rest of the weekend. Watch Weather Center after your local forecast.
Trimmer users, if you're tired of handheld trimmers that strain your arms and back and are so frustrating to use, here's great news about the original revolutionary DR trimmer on wheels. Now there's an all-new smaller DR that's perfect for every homeowner. The new DR Sprint has the same easy-rolling big wheels design as its bigger brothers, but it's a third lighter for easier trimming, along drives and walks, around planting beds and obstacles, in ditches, and on slopes. The DR Sprint also has the power to mow even waist-high weeds and grass without...